what Ford just did. They just blew away the competition. Welcome back to another video. I am joined by my co-host Stan Stanley, as always, the strong silent type. He's more here for emotional support. Unfortunately, I'm filming this midweek, so Security Loki is not on scene. She was actually apprehended and taken home without permission. We will talk about that more in another video. Ford just killed it. Dodge went EV. We know the price of EVs is considerably higher, so they've almost priced themselves out of the market. They're going to be more like a Hummer. When you go in to buy a full-size electric truck, and you've got the Lightning, the Silverado, I assume a Ram will come eventually, and then you see, and they're $60,000 to $80,000, and then you see the Hummer and it's $120,000. That's what the Challenger will more than likely end up being. It will be, you know, you'll go in and shop for a muscle car. There'll be $35,000 Mustangs, there'll be $60,000 Mustangs, there'll be $90,000 Mustangs, and then there'll be $100,000+ electric Charger. There won't be as broad of options available, which I don't know if Ford knew that when they were doing what they were doing, but they just set a bar. They've maintained the same engines, the same transmissions. They have evolved the look without changing it too much. I'm actually a big fan. The previous current gen Mustang, to me, it looks good on its own. It looks good against normal cars like Civics and Camrys and whatever, but when you got it beside a Camaro, Corvette, some of the more exotic stuff like Aston Martins, you could see where the design, at least for me, kind of shifted. I seen a Bullet Mustang, brand new, beside my Camaro, and it made the nose look really short and it was like a turtle head poking out of a shell type shape, which was really weird to me because I like the look of the Mustang, but when put beside other cars that to me are just proportionately almost perfect for what they're trying to achieve. Like the Camaro, the windows are pretty small, you can't really see out of them, but cosmetically it looks really good. The window height, the roof length, the proportions of everything look really, really good. So it's nice to see some tweaks, it's nice to see some changes. They kind of got rid of the rounded look and they went for the more like hooded brow look. Like you see on people where they get like kind of the hooded eyebrow look. I call it the hooded look. Camaro's got it because the headlights sit so far underneath. It's kind of a real more aggressive, angry stance. So I'm a big fan of the new look. I actually think it was shockingly better than what I had anticipated. The new crease in the back of the trunk, awesome. The way the taillights look more like a chevron pattern, and just the sharper aesthetic to it all, to me, looked fantastic. I was very concerned after the Mach-E came out, which I'm not a fan of. Pricing is obnoxious. Its looks are meh. I don't know. It wasn't my thing, and I was concerned that they were really going to take that to heart and run with it for the next gen Mustang and get rid of a lot of the things that I do like about the Mustang. The interior is the only part that I wasn't as much a fan of when I seen the new look. The big wraparound screen is very Mercedes, BMW, Audi to me. I know the new Cadillacs are kind of integrating it a bit. I don't know, it isn't my thing. It isn't my preferred style. I like having two separate screens that kind of do their different jobs. I was always a fan of the Mustang, how they kept some of the reminiscent interior cues, where they have like the double panel for each compartment of the driver-passenger compartment. I really like that look. It really kind of jived with me, and I like that they kind of evolved it over the years and then integrated tech into it rather than just clean slate it, whereas this is now a clean slate. It looks fine. It just isn't, to me, as Mustang as it could be. But I'm not really going to judge. They did do a Fox body heads-up display or informational display, which I thought was kind of a neat throwback touch. It'd be neat to see some other brands kind of follow suit and bring back some of the classic heritage that they've built, because Fox bodies are super popular still, and for good reason. Like, they were the better car at the time, and they've kind of prevailed as time has gone on. It's like an OBS Chevy. Like, they were making trucks that have lasted this long, and people are still paying big dollar for them. So it really speaks to the heritage when they do stuff like that. My manual transmission still, it sounds good. It's still got the V8. I don't really have anything to truly complain about it, and this might be the first Ford product that I could say that I take that back. The Ford Bronco, the new Ford Bronco, to me, like, they nailed that too. But again, pricing. When I started seeing some of the pricing with markups and stuff around, I was like, who's going to spend 95,000 Canadian? Like, I realize it's only about 15,000 American, but 95,000 Canadian dollars on this Bronco. It's a lot of money. I paid 46 grand for my Camaro. 2SS, fully loaded, sunroof, nav, all the stripe packages, upgraded rims, upgraded exhaust, upgraded everything you could get when the car came out for 46, or you can get a Bronco for 95. Is a Bronco, and this is not top trim either, it's like a mid-range four-door Bronco worth $2 and a bit of my car? I wouldn't say so. Is it worth 50% more than a Silverado or an F-150? I also wouldn't say so, but I don't make pricing, and I'm also not the demographic or the people buying it. So people are buying them, I see them on the roads, obviously somebody has found value in it, whether it's the nostalgia, the fact that it's body on frame. I'm not exactly sure why people are justifying it, but they are. So I digress. I'm very impressed with the Bronco as a package and what they're offering. It's not the pricing. Mustang, man, just as a GM fanboy, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned that if I wanted to buy a new sports car, the only thing I'm going to be buying is a Mustang. And I would probably light on fire to go into a Ford dealership. I've never actually been in one. I've only been in the parking lots. I attempted to shop for one before I bought the Camaro, and the salesman was really rude. I went in with my girlfriend. I was on the Harley. It was a good time. We were just out for the day browsing. I hadn't bought the Camaro yet. So I thought, before I commit this money, I might as well go shop the competition so I can at least rule it out as something I didn't want. A bunch of little things I didn't like about it that just felt a lot cheaper than the Camaro, especially for the money. They were within like $2,000 of one another. But it was really the salesman that threw me. They just treated me like I couldn't afford anything, I couldn't buy anything, and I wasn't worth their time. And so that was where I kind of just drew the line. I don't care how good a deal or how good of a product you're trying to sell, customer service will sway me heavily on price and product. But if they're not going to do whatever they're going to do, then I can't control any of that. And I'm not the only one that had that. I had a few friends that were shopping for GT350s when they came out, and it was like, if you put $20,000 down on top of the price as a dealer markup, we have one in the back. And if you don't, we can't get one. Like, Ford to me was the first American brand that really started the price gouging and the markups and all this with their cars. And I never understood, like, the GT350 is a very cool car. The Voodoo motor is a very cool motor, but they also started lighting on fire. So, I mean, to spend $20,000 over markup, get it out, things start sounding like a typewriter, and then lights on fire on the side of the highway, I wouldn't say that's a solid investment. But again, just seems like everybody's gone that way. The Corvette really pushed the GM market and the GM dealers into that direction, and everything's following suit with the pandemic and chip shortages and everything else that's going on. It's irritating. But Ford to me started the trend, so that's a big knock against them. So that's it. I'm very impressed. I'm very excited to see it out, and I'm going to see if I can do my darndest to go test one once they start arriving in dealerships. Maybe a manual. Maybe I'll have to become friends with somebody at a Ford dealership that will meet me outside of the dealership so that I don't have to light on fire to potentially try one. You never know. That's it for me. Top Hat Plus, Between Two Fenders. My co-host Stanley. Stanley. And don't you say it wrong. Till next time, drive safe, take care, and behave, as always.